All right? Awesome, great. All right, let's jump right into it. Let's get into it. Real love. And right off the bat, at the top of it all, what I'm calling this is the fight for family. The fight for family. Do y'all have something? Y'all have some kind of packet or something to write? Y'all have that? Pull it out. I have found that, and it's something that they taught us when I was learning education and learning psychology, because I had an education and a psych minor. They taught us that you learn something better if you're writing it down. Matter of fact, I know it's Friday night, and I know we've worked, and we may be tired. If you're going to stay awake, you're going to stay alert, then you need to write the stuff down, okay? And so I'm going to be sharing information with you, and even the booklet you've got, you're looking at it, it's blank, right? It's blank. So I left it blank on purpose so that you would then have to fill in the blanks and write the stuff down. It'll keep you interactive, keep you connected. If you need a pen, do we have pens to give people? Everybody got pens in the bag. Man, this is some kind of church. Hallelujah. All right, so you got your pen. You got no excuse. If you're sitting next to somebody and they ain't writing, elbow them in the throat. No, bump them and tell them, look, write it down. It'll keep them connected and interactive because what you write, you remember. When you write something down, it gets into your brain and you start to remember it, okay? And so right off the top, right at the beginning, right under the introduction, session 1, Pastor Andy, the battle, and I'm saying that the battle is the fight for family. Write that down, the fight for family. I don't know if you've ever been in a fight and didn't know it. I don't know if that's ever happened to you, where you were in a fight and didn't know you were in a fight. I know I'm not the only one in here that's been in a fight before. One time I was actually in a fight, didn't know I was in a fight. This kid that lived in my neighborhood who's actually in jail doing life right now, actually. But I don't know, he got mad at something I said or mad at something I did. I really should say that because I never visited him. But he got mad at something I said or mad at something I did. Sucker punched me, and he outweighed me by like 50 pounds, hit me before I was aware that we were fighting. He hit me, knocked me down, not out, knocked me down, and then he got on top of me with his extra 50 pounds, had me in a headlock, and was just holding me down. He wasn't hitting me, but he was just holding me down. I didn't even know we were fighting. I was on the ground before I even found out that we were fighting. I had no idea that I was in a fight, but I found myself on the ground and in a fight, and I couldn't get up under this kid, and I couldn't get up. And I heard someone yelling from down the road, "Get off my brother, get off my brother." And one of my younger brothers, at this point, I probably was 10. And so my brother, he was 6. He was a chubby little kid. So he's running down saying, "Get off my brother." Jumped up with his chubby big self, landed on the top of this, back of this kid's head. The kid couldn't help but let me go. I got up, then we kicked and stopped him, and then we ran home before he got up. All right, tonight, my plan is to jump on top of whatever has your family structure under and say, "Get off my brother, get off my sister, get off my people," so that we can actually fight, because we're in a fight and don't even know it. We're fighting for things, and things isn't really what it's about. We're fighting for bling, and bling isn't really what it's about. We're fighting for a look. Look's not really what it's about. The real battle, and it's not just us in the room. If you're aware, if you look at it, if you look at the country, you will see that the country is in a battle, and that battle is for family. There is an attack against America today when it comes to family. When you look at the stats in America when it comes to marriage and family and children and raised with or without fathers and children and the parents in the home, the family structure itself is under attack in America. Beyond just the redefinition of it, family itself, how we're doing family in the 21st century versus how our grandparents did family or how our great-grandparents did family. There is a pointed, directed attack against family. We're in a fight and we don't even know we're in a fight. We've been sucker punched and we don't even really realize that we've been sucker punched. And it's happened real subtle like. And so now we have lost our ability to do family in the right kind of way, and we have to fight to get it back. Can you say something to me? We've got to fight to get it back. We have to fight for the thing that is the most valuable to us. And I threw just some quick stats in the thing for you, and I didn't even leave it blank. I just left it in here because I didn't want you to have to try to write it down. But at this point right now, 69% of American children under the age of 18 live with both parents. That might sound like a high number to you, but in my parents' generation, it was 88%. So in just one generation, we've gone from 88% to less than 70% of children living with both parents in the home. It's just something that's just not happening anymore. 48 million are living with married parents. 3 million are living with unmarried parents. It's all there in the booklet that I just gave you. It's a downward trend. We're not trending upward, we're trending downward when it comes to family. When it comes to this ability to find love and to connect, we're trending downward, and we're in a battle and not even aware that we're in a battle. When you look at the black family, and I know not everyone in here is African American, so please be patient with me for just a minute, but the greater majority of us in here are African American or of some kind of African American descent or mixed with some kind of blacks in there. Something's going on, and so if you're in here with us and you're white, thank you for being here, and then you must love us. You got to be comfortable because you are in a room full of, can we just put our hands together for the ones that braved. First of all, they're in Durham at night. Okay, anyway, so they're here, all right? And so please, for just a minute, but white folk, and please forgive us, but for your black brothers and sisters that you love, the trend for us is even worse. Nobody does family as bad as we do it. When you look at the statistics, I put it in there, that 74.3% of white children below the age of 18 live with both parents. That's not a bad stat. It's not the best it could be, and it's a downward trend. But still, it's 74% of white children under the age of 18 are living with both their parents, where it's 38.7% for black children. Living below the age of 18, living with both parents. And a third of those black children are living with a single mother by themselves. Just them and their single mother. And so we have to realize there's an attack on the family in America. There's an attack particularly pointed, directed attack at African Americans. Why that is? I could spend an hour talking about why we struggle with it more than some of the other cultures in our country struggle with it, because Hispanics numbers are even better than the white numbers, and Asian numbers are even better. Why are we struggling? I could talk about that forever, but I don't want to do that because I don't want to single any of us out. Anybody that may watch this is not streaming, but anybody that may watch this, I want to try to include all of us, because at the end of the day, family in particular and love and connection is under attack in the country, period. So I don't want to really talk so much about why is there an attack on people of color or black people, but why is there an attack on family, period? Why this attack on family? Why is love and family under such an attack? And why am I talking about it tonight? Why have we decided to do a conference? If you're aware of us, we're not really a conference church. Anybody ever gone to a conference church? No? Come on. Yes, you did. Because you went to churches where they had revival on a regular basis. They just had, and we do conferences, but they're not something that we always do. We haven't done a conference this year, and the conference we're doing, if you're not a member of our church, welcome, welcome. But the conference that we're doing is a conference on love. A conference on this particular subject and issue. Why are we doing this? Well, because I recognize the attack on the family, and it's just always been a part of the brand of World Overcomers. Even less than a part of my personal brand. It's just been a part of the brand of World Overcomers Christian Church. From the beginning, in our 16, 17 years, we've been trying as best we could to put an emphasis on the importance of love and family and connection and relationship beyond just the picture of the nuclear family, father and mother and children, but even single mama and her children and even connections, relationships. We have always emphasized that because it's important. It's important. Something that's important for us to focus on. And so why is love and family under such an attack? And I'll give you the reason why. It's on that blank line right there next to the hashtag symbol. And it's because family is power. So can you please write that down? Family power. Family power. We have to understand that one of the paths to blessing, I don't know what's your religious status, but I just want you to know that I believe that one of the sources of good, one of the sources of great, one of the sources of blessing, I think that Christians make a significant mistake when we try to make it seem that only Christians should benefit from life. The earth belongs to God and the fullness thereof. He loves the world, not just the church. So for even someone that may not know God or may not have a relationship with God, if you're in this room and you're kind of, you were invited by a friend, glad you're here. But even for those of us who may not necessarily be super solid when it comes to a religious statement, understand that even beyond just church being a source of good or better or blessing, family is supposed to be a source of advantage. Family is supposed to be power. And so one of the reasons why there is such an attack on the family is because there is an attack against the power of the individual. And family is power. There are several ways in which family is power. Number one, the first thing right next to the number one, if you're writing down with me, if you're still here with me. Number one, the first part of it is that family is foundation. Family equals foundation. It's there on the screens. Family equals foundation, okay? There is a foundation that you are supposed to be offered by family. Family was supposed to put a rock at the bottom of you. I don't know if you remember, I'm 50 years old. And so I don't know, some of you may remember there was this toy back in the day that was kind of like this blow-up thing that had a weight at the bottom. Old people, remember that? You could punch it and it popped back up. No matter how hard you hit it, it popped right back up because there was a weight at the bottom of it that kept it from going down and staying down. Family is supposed to be the weight at the bottom of you that no matter what hits you, you pop back up. We're very sensitive about bullying, and we should be. But there's a whole lot of us raised with some bullying. Oh, come on. Cracked on the bus. I was constantly, consistently cracked on the bus because my parents didn't have a lot of money, and my mother had bought me 5 pairs of checker pants. She brought me a different pair for every day of the week. You ain't got to say nothing. And this is back during Jordache jeans. As soon as I got on the bus, they were like, here it come, here it come, here it come. I don't know if you ever sat on the bus and got a coat over your legs and got a bag on your lap. You don't want nobody to see. You can't even laugh at nobody else because they'll be like, what you laughing at, checker pants? I mean, it was just a part of it. What is it that held you up before the country was so sensitive about bullying? What was it that held you up? Well, there was supposed to be a weight at the bottom of you that was your family foundation. Family was supposed to tell you who you were. We're Thompsons. Thompson gets good grades. Thompsons know how to read. Thompsons do the right stuff. That there was an identity, there was a foundation at the bottom of it that was supposed to be strength for you. And I put this little quote in here that says, power and money are the fruit of life, but family and friends are roots of life. You see it? We can manage without fruits, but we cannot stand without roots. You can actually make it without some fruit, but you can't stand firm without some depth. Without some depth. I would contend, and again, I don't mean to make this just an African-American event. That's not what I'm trying to do, but I would contend that a part of the challenge of African Americans when it comes to family is that our culture is very new. Our culture is very new. If you get around someone that's Jamaican or get around someone that's from Africa, there's just more depth. They have a deeper connection to culture. Whereas for us, quite honestly, we were slaves and then second-class citizens until Dr. King marched for us and established civil rights for us. What really was our culture? It's hard for us to have depth because our culture lacks history. And without that foundation and that depth, we're not as strong as we ought to be, because on the last line I want you to write that family equals trust. Family is supposed to be somebody that you can trust. Family is supposed to be people that you can trust. If there's nobody that you can trust, it ought to be family. So even when we talk about family, and when I talk about family, please understand, I'm not just talking about your family by blood. I'm talking about the people that you have created intimacy with, because I believe that friends can become family to you. Oh my God, I know there's some of us that have friends and brothers. They're closer to us than our brothers and our sisters. That when I'm talking family, I'm not just talking about the folk that were born into the same gene pool as you, because we have to make a difference in that, because it's absolutely possible for your enemies to be members of your own household. I wish I had a witness. I'm not trying to get a witness because this ain't supposed to be a preaching event. But what I'm saying to you is absolutely possible that the persons that are the most critical of you are people that share blood with you. And so there's a lot of us, and I say us, a lot of us, that aren't really as close to our birth family as we are to people that we have grown up with and felt friendship with that turn into family. Because family is supposed to be a group that won't betray you. Family is supposed to be a foundation upon which you can trust. Number two, the second thing about family, and the second reason why it's under attack and what family brings, is that family is identity. I almost started to get into it. Family is identity. It's a part of foundation. Family is identity. It's identity. It's identity. How can we know who we are when we do not know who we have been? How do we know who we are when we do not know who we have been? I understand we live in a super individualized culture and everybody wants to discover and find themselves. But I would contend that that's a part of the weakness of our current culture. That a part of the challenge is that there is no identity without family. There was a time when your people helped to define who you were. What your daddy did defined what you were going to do. Your father was a plumber, chances are you might be doing some plumbing. Family had a business. Family had a store. Family had an identity for you. You identified with what your people did, and there was an identity that you had. You understood your history. You knew where your people's people were from. You knew a bit of their story because their story helped to define your story. You knew where your grandparents had came from. They sat around and told you those boring stories, my God, so that you could have a sense of how far we've come, so that you will know how far we still have yet to go. That family provides identity, and that the power of a collective will always overcome the power of the individual. The power of the collective will always overcome the power of the individual. You get a collective group together, they have more power. Even though the world is moved and shaped and we are surrounded by people who in their gifting have power to do something really cool and interesting and great, at the end of the day, they will be overrun and overcome by a collective group that can come together. That we have to understand that there is something about identifying together that gives us a strength, and it's another part of the attack against the family. It's another part of the attack against us. Y'all still with me? Still with me, right? Okay, still with me? Okay, number 3. What's the third reason why family is so powerful and why there's such an attack on family? And that is because family equals wealth. Family equals wealth. People with money start thinking about family. You in here and you never think about family, you're broke. People with money start thinking about family. People with money start thinking, what am I going to do? What's going to happen when I'm gone? What is going to happen to this money? I am making this money. Who am I leaving? Is it in a trust? Is it in a this? Is it in a that? Because when you really think about money, and I know that everybody in here likes some money. Can I please get a witness if you like some money? I know we don't want to say we love money because the Bible says that the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil, but I sure do like it. Love, man, money answers all things. Even if I'm not going to love it, I like it. We all are interested in money. We're all interested. And I'm not just interested in money. I'm interested in wealth. I'm interested in something you can't lose. I'm interested in permanence, and we don't really like to think about it, especially people of color, but real wealth is almost impossible to build it in one generation. It's just not possible. The idea that we all have to pull ourselves up from our own bootstraps is ludicrous. It's an insane idea, especially considering the fact that that's not how most of the people around us who have money got their money. Our president got his money. See, that's why I'm not streaming. Our president did not earn his. Our president got his money from his daddy. So my point is that when we really think about it, family is supposed to be wealth. I put a quote in here that I saw that Chris Rock said, and that is that wealth is not about having a lot of money. It's about having a lot of options. It's about having a lot of options. So I'm trying to position myself into a position so that my children don't have to make decisions based on making money. They have more options because we have more property, because we have more land, because we have more wealth. That is not just about dollars and cents in the bank, and that's good, but that I realize that there ought to be an accumulation of wealth over generations, because family is supposed to be one of the ways in which wealth is passed down. When I was in Ghana this past year and I was doing a relationship thing there, they were saying one of the reasons why they wanted me to come and share was because they were saying that in the Ghanaian culture, you are always a part of your mother's family. You're always a part of your mother's family. And your wealth and your property is connected to your mother's family. So that even if you do something and make something great, when you die, all of that is going to go to your mother's family. It's supposed to stay in the family. And one of the challenges that can happen is that if a woman marries a man and then that man dies, if his mother's family does not really care for her, then she can end up in trouble because the wealth is not connected to that relationship. It's connected to the family's money. That if I ever made $500 million, dollars. God, let it happen. If I ever, I don't know about you, but there have been times when I've been driving down the highway and I seen that Powerball or something like that. Oh my God. And have y'all seen the article about the woman who won the lottery and now she broke again? And good God, I don't even want to read it. I don't even want to know what happened. But I think to myself, the only reason why I don't play it is because if I won, people would talk about me forever. It would make the news. Pastor wins $500 billion. What I'm saying is, if I ever got a large sum, I would never break it up and give it to my children individually. That's foolish. Keep it together. I'd put it in a trust and they'd get a piece of the interest off it forever, because I have to understand that it takes more than one generation to build wealth. Family is supposed to be about building wealth. A part of the reason why we're in families is because we're supposed to be richer and wealthier and stronger together as a result of family. It requires a great deal of boldness and a great deal of caution to make a great fortune. And when you have it, it requires 10 times as much skill to keep it. Right now, part of the reason why I'm concerned about my son's education is because I'm planning on leaving them something, and I don't want them to waste it when I leave it to them. Every now and then I will threaten them and I'll say, keep talking crazy, and I'm going to leave everything to your sisters. Just keep talking. Keep on messing with me, and y'all going to be going to your sisters to try to get something. You're going to have to show me the maturity and the enlightenment to be able to handle the wealth that I'm going to leave you, because family is supposed to be about wealth. My son said to me, I'm going to play in the NBA, and I'm going to play, when I get to the NBA, I'm going to buy you a house. I said, boy, if you ever make it to the NBA, don't you dare buy me a house. Buy your son a house. Instead of paying it back, why can't we pay it forward? I wish I had a witness in the building. But we are locked in poverty because we are forever paying it backwards. We've lost sight of the fact that America was founded on free labor. Foundation of America is free labor. All of this great stuff we have, founded on free labor, founded on slavery, founded on folk who killed people and then went and got their land and had land rushes and got a bunch of property and then brought in free labor to work it. The wealth of the country was founded on free labor. It is very difficult to change it when that's how it started. The reason why we let slavery go is because we were moving from an agricultural society and becoming an industrial society. It was the birth of the industrial age. They didn't need slaves the way they needed slaves. Now they needed workers. Now they needed people to work in the factories. And all I'm saying to you is, even if you're in here and you think you're free, if I pay you a wage and then you spend the rest of your week giving all of your money back to me, I still own you. So if right now, if every single dollar you spend, every single dollar you make gets spent, then you are a slave. Our country is still founded on this idea of free labor. We're slaves and we just don't know it. And the only way for you to break out of that slavery, and there are some of us who are in so deep, we will never not be slaves. But we have to believe that we can get out of this slavery thing. We have to believe, well, not me. I'm going to own my own house, and I'm going to have my own thing. Somebody got to wave at me. That even the idea of the new generation, all you millennials, wanting to Uber and live in an apartment, have the faith to own your own stuff. Sorry. Have the courage to own your own stuff. Sit in the back of somebody else's car who's making money giving you a ride somewhere. We are almost in love with slavery. We just like the cucumbers that we get. My point to you is that if you are born, Bill Gates said, if you are born poor, that is not your fault. But if you die poor, that is your fault. We're too poor to be partying. We're too poor to be spending money on drinks in a club. We're too poor to be buying a girl a $7 drink, a $9 drink. I don't even know how much it costs. I don't even want to say because people be like, what club you been at? We are too poor to be wasting money on a chicken sandwich. Oh my God. It almost made me want to throw up. Lines of us around the corner. Can't wait to get a new job, but we'll wait for a chicken sandwich. Can't get in line to go to school, but we'll get in line for a chicken sandwich. We are so focused on our gut that we don't realize that we're in a fight. We have to understand it's a battle, and it's a battle for wealth. It's a battle for wealth. I said it's a battle for wealth. I'm talking to somebody. It's a battle for wealth. I don't want my children to go through what I had to go through. I don't want them to have to deal like I did. I don't want them to have to work like I had to work. I want them to have a work ethic, but I don't want them to gain it in a fast food place. I want them to gain it in somebody's office. I'm saying that this is about building family. When I say family, I mean who you trust. Who you trust. Who would never betray you? Who's your inner circle? Who's your closest people? Family. Let me end my session, this quick introductory session here by giving you what I'm calling 7 building blocks for family. 7 building blocks for family. Okay? It's a blank there. Right. 7 building blocks for family. Under it says closest people. Building your 7 building blocks for family. Because family has got to be something that we focus on building. For all of us in this room that are in love or in relationships or trying to be in a relationship or trying to find somebody or trying to be found, understand that you have to be looking to build family more than you're just looking to get some. Part of the problem is that we have taken the part of us and we have misunderstood what this thing was really about. The first building block for family, number 1, is desire. Desire. What do you desire? Please write that down, question mark. What do you desire? Family is so important, it's connected to pleasure. We have missed the picture. Part of the reason why the thing is pleasurable is because it is built with a pleasure inside. It is the thing that we think about the most. Family is so important that it is connected to a pleasurable moment. And we have taken the parts of us meant to be pleasurable to build family, and we've used it to build just recreation. So now we have taken this thing, this covenant building power, and we've turned it into Tinder, and we've turned it into hookup, and we've turned it into booty call, and we've turned it into quickness, and we've turned it into you can get this all you want. We have turned it into something. We have missed the whole point of it. Why God made it feel good. He made it feel good because he's trying to give us an even greater incentive to actually build family. It's how powerful family is. But it's going to be difficult for you to do it if the desire is not there. Desire is the power of family. Family is so important, it's connected to pleasure. So when I say desire, I mean you have to, number 1, desire the power of family. Please write that down. Desire the power of family. The reason why I've spent the last 25, 30 minutes, and I'm wrapping up this first session. Part of the reason why I spent this much time and gave you this booklet, I want you to write this down, is because I want us to start this thing off with understanding what this thing is really about. What this thing is really about is that you've got one life to live. You got 100 years on the planet, and you want as much strength and power and consistency as possible. And wealth is something that you want to build and gain. So you have to desire the power of family even more than you just desire hips. Praise God for hips. But a part of the reason why you're even interested in hips is because you are hardwired to look for something that can hold your seed. When them hips walk by, your eye says, ooh, but your seed factory says, now that can hold a baby. Reason why you are interested in breastises is because you are thinking, can you feed my seed? Let me try one of them things out and see if a baby can latch on to that thing. What is that? Why would you want to do that? She's not your mother. I need a dude to talk to me. Please talk to me. Don't leave me out here, God. Why would you want to do that? Come on, dude, don't act like we don't want to do this. The first thing we want to do. They will show all the cleavage in the world, but they won't show that point there. They won't show that. But if one is poking through the shirt, we're like, oh my God, there she goes. Why is that? What is that about? You think that's just cultural? No, every human is looking at that because we are hardwired for procreation. Part of the reason why you like a dude with a little bit of deep, even if your voice ain't deep enough, you try. What's going on, girl? I know me. I sound like Mickey Mouse up here. Hello, Mouseketeers. Hi, Passy Andy. But when I met LaShawn, I was like, yo, what's going on, girl? Why are you trying to have some depth, some bass? Why? Because they're interested in some kind of strength. Woman don't want no man she got to pick up and carry out the road. She wants some kind of protector, some kind of depth. So can you fix something? What is that? That is hardwired. What am I saying to you? What I'm saying to you is that even the desire is connected to this family thing. Do you see what I'm saying to you? I said, do you see what I'm saying to you? There has to be desire there. You have to desire the power of family, but you also have to desire the person. This is where the church has missed it. This is why we're doing this. My wife's going to be up here in a little bit, and we're going to share some stuff with you before we start this party. But this is why we have shared this for 30 years. We've been doing this thing. We got a whole new segment that we've been messing around with called They Lied to Us. Because the church over-spiritualized this thing. And they told you that the family that prays together stays together. And that generation that told us that is getting more divorced than anybody ever because it ain't true. That there is, sure, praying is great. Can I tell you something honestly? Most of the time, LaShawn and I, and not that we are the most bestest couple, but we're a pretty serious example of a good relationship, and we really do not pray together. How quiet it got? It doesn't mean that there aren't times when we join hands and take authority, believe God for something together, but beloved, when we're on knees, ain't a whole lot of, sorry. If I come in and you better do a whole lot more on your knees than, well, wait, let me. What I'm saying is for the relationship to work, he can't be Neapolitan ice cream. You can't be licking around the nasty strawberry to get to the chocolate and the vanilla that you want. If you like chocolate, then you better get yourself some chocolate. As for me and my brain, I'll be liking me some chocolate. I know some of y'all like a little something else, but I want some chocolate. I'm all about that base, that I'm all about that. Now, and when I said my desire for base, the church looked at me like I was carnal. See, that's what's wrong with you. See, it sounds just like the Rocky Road. See, that's what's wrong with you. You think that blah, 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 and what you need to get is somebody that can pray. You need to get somebody full of the Holy Ghost. That's what That's a nice idea, but I do not think that it should take tongues to sleep with someone. I don't think you should have to be in there like, ooh, eat a mosquito, tie my tie, he coming in a Honda. Woo. I don't think it should take that. There ought to be some desire. This is not church. There's a time for church, and there's a time for this thing. Nobody went here, no blessed assurance. Put some Luther on. Put on something. Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foot. Don't nobody want to hear that. There's got to be some desire. You got to talk to me. You see, what we try to do is we try to do marriage without the desire in it. But desire is a building block for family. Number two, maturity is a building block for family. Maturity is a building block for family. Your desires can't be trusted until you are mature. Please write that down. Your desires can't be trusted until you are mature. When you're young and dumb, you want stuff that you shouldn't want. You got to get some maturity on you. I know I'm not the only one that what I originally wanted and what I ended up with. I'm so glad that I didn't get the first thing that I thought that I wanted, because we'd be in a world of trouble right now. That my maturity is a building block in family. One of the things that is the most distressing to me, especially when it comes to sexual identity, and I'm not going to get into it because I don't want anyone picketing this place, but I will just say this. It seems to me that 12 is young to decide what you are. Okay. I might respect it more if it was somebody 37, not somebody 9. Okay, take some maturity. Number 3, communication. It's a building block for family. It's communication. The question is, can we talk? Can we talk? Can we talk? I'm going to throw another thing on here that I want you to write down. Y'all can't talk because they couldn't talk. Y'all can't talk because they couldn't talk, meaning that your mom and your daddy couldn't talk, and you have incorporated that dysfunction in your relation. And now y'all can't talk because they couldn't hardly talk. Do it differently. Do it better. Don't be so quick to push your body parts together and you haven't talked. Number 4. 4 is love. Love obviously is a building block for family, but love is more than a feeling, it's a decision. Part of the reason why this t-shirt that I want you all to get and buy and wear tomorrow is it's like more than love, because love is great. And the next session what LaShawn and I are going to talk about is the fact that love is great, but it's possible to love somebody and not like them. Somebody got to say something to me. 60-year-old people that get divorced, they don't get divorced because they don't love each other. They get divorced because they don't like each other. So like has got to be focused on, and love is more than just a feeling, it's a decision. Number 5, the 5th building block for family is duty. D-U-T-Y, duty. Under that, right, duty is the frame, love is the canvas. Duty is the frame, love is the canvas. There was a time in human existence when the duty of the relationship was more important than the love. Duty was more important than the love. Love was important, but it wasn't as important as duty. Most of the marriages that came together were arranged, and it wasn't really a love thing. Now, I'm not saying we got to get back to that, but we can't lose the power of duty. In a real relationship, the person plays a role in your life. If that's your man, he's in a role. If that's your woman, she's in a role. If that's your best friend, he's in a role. If she's in a role. If this is your mom, they're in a role. If this is your child, they're in a role. There is a duty. There's something that you owe them. How is it that you can not cuss out your supervisor, but you cuss out your husband? Wait. So you won't cuss out a cop, but you will cuss out your wife? Why is it that this love makes us think that we can say things to one another that are unacceptable? Understand that the duty still has to play a role in your life. Number 6 is covenant. Covenant. It's the building block for family. It's one of the big things that we're missing is covenant, and covenant is the agreement that sees you through the storms. Covenant is the agreement that sees you through the storms, because there are going to be storms. And if all you have is just a very tenuous, well, I like you, you like me back, it can't be weak. This ain't the 8th grade. I quit you back. You're going to have to be something deeper than that. Some kind of contract, some kind of something that holds you in. No one else does long without a contract. All of a sudden, we're trying to do love without a contract. We need that covenant. It's a part of the power of it. And then number 7, and my last point, the 7th building block for family is legacy. Legacy. Please write it down. Legacy. And I'll give you my definition of legacy. Legacy is the power you have over the inevitability of death. Legacy is the power you have over the inevitability of death. What I mean is, you are going to die. It don't matter how much water you drink. It don't matter how much running you do. It don't matter how much kale you eat because you're a vegan. You're going to die, they're going to cut you open, there's going to be kale flowing out. You are not going to live forever. And what legacy is legacy is, all right, I'm going to leave something behind me that will outlive me. Without that thought, you won't build family. One of the building blocks, one of the fundamental pieces of what it actually takes for you to actually have family is this idea that there's a legacy that I want to leave. I'm actually getting an opportunity to live a piece of myself in the earth, in this child, in this connection, in this relationship, in this we are actually building the connection that we have with one another is that we are trying to leave something here after we're gone. Friendship's nice, but at some point, your friendship has to mean something. Can't just stay connected to forever to people who aren't smart. At some point, that time, that moment of your friendship has got to turn into something. And if y'all are really so tight and really so together and really so smart and really so connected, then maybe you need to think about a way for you to gain strength together. Maybe this is more than just a partnership of hanging out. Maybe there is something you have that is now family. And as a result of that family, you are now going to leave something behind you that will outlive you. I think for those of us who are Christians who think about living forever, I think we only think about it in terms of going to heaven and living forever. I don't know where you are if you're, I think but that's how we think. But no, there's more than just one way to live forever. That's a way to live forever, but that's not the only way to live forever. The other way to live forever is to leave something behind you that's still in the earth, that shows you were here. Something more than shoes and hair. Something more than cars that won't last. Something more than rims and hats and Jordans. That you want to show that you passed this way and left your mark on the earth. If you think like that, then it becomes an ingredient that becomes a part of what you're looking for to use to actually build family. And my desire for all of you, welcome to this Real Love Relationship Conference, and our trust and our desire for you is that even more than love, more than wherever your status may be, that you will find yourself walking in the power of family. Can you put your hands together if you heard something? Okay, let's jump right into it. And I want you to write on that first line, love is great, but what happened to the like? Love is great, but what happened to the like? As I said a few minutes ago, it's absolutely possible to love somebody and not like them. Anybody got it in anyone in their life that they love but don't like? Can you raise your hand? Come on, be honest. Somebody that you love them, but you don't necessarily like them. When you're going to see them at the cookout, you're thinking how you're going to survive seeing them at the cookout. When you see them, they're like, ah, and you're like, ah, and you give them a hug, but truthfully, you're not really intimate with them. One of the big mistakes that the church made, one of the ways in which they lied to us, is that they told us that the love was unconditional. But the only way for love to be unconditional is for us to not be intimate. If we are going to be close, then we have to meet each other's conditions. Because if you continually violate my conditions, I will start to hate you. So the only way for me to stay in love with you or to keep loving you is to get distant from you. This is why couples don't date. This is why couples don't sleep together. This is why couples don't go on vacation together, because they lose the like. They have the love but lose the like. You can love someone and not like them. And the only way for you to keep loving someone that violates your conditions is for you to get distance from them. This is why you don't live with your mother. You don't live with your mother because you want to love her. And the only way to love her is to take her in doses in which you can handle her. I need a witness in the back. It's the only way. My boys are off to prep school, and they're back. They're glad to be in the house, but there's some good to being back. There's some good to being away. We get on their nerves a little bit. Good. That will make you get your own house. You understand what I'm saying to you is the only way for you to, I can say honestly to everybody in this room, I love you. I can say it right out my mouth. I love you. I can say it to all of you. I don't know you. I love you. It's very easy for me to say I love you. Very easy for me to love you in a pastoral way with agape love. Part of the reason why I want to do this thing for free, we got to do the offerings and got to do the, but part of the reason why I want to do it for free is because of this love, and I just want to give it all away. I love you. But for that love to be real, that love is a very distant love. That love is a very disconnected love. We're not close. If we were going to get close, then you would have to meet my conditions. And I have to meet yours. Because if we violate each other's conditions, then we won't like each other. And if we don't like each other, then we won't be intimate with one another. Me and this woman here are intimate with one another. When I say intimate, I mean we are intimate. Oh, yes, girl, with the braids. We are intimate. But when I say we're intimate, I mean we're not just physically intimate, we're emotionally intimate, we're relationally intimate. And that intimacy does not come from love. That intimacy comes from like. That's why the theme of this conference is it's like more than love. I want you to love someone. If you're here and you're single and you want to find someone, I want you to love them. But even more than you loving them, I want you to like them. If you're sitting here with somebody, love is great, but you better make sure that you keep liking each other. Because if you don't like each other, then you'll stop talking, you'll stop spending time together, you'll stop sleeping together, and it's gonna go down. You're single in here right now. If you're believing or thinking about anything in the future with someone, understand you don't wanna just look for love, you wanna look for like. But it's also very important to like your children. I never wanted my children to turn into somebodies that I love but didn't like. Yeah. So we have to share, we have to talk, we have to be honest with one another to build on the like and to work on the like, okay? Because I wanted you to write on that line, it is possible to love someone and not like them. Here's the challenge, okay? At the top of your next section, we're gonna jump right into it while we're both up here. The challenge is that men and women like different things. It's the challenge. Men and women like different things. What men like and what women like are not always the same. So when it comes time to something like relationships, especially or love or real love relationship, it can be very challenging because what a guy is looking for in a woman that he likes and what a woman is looking for in a man and what she will like, they're not the same. And if we're not clear about what we like and how different our likes are, if we lose the like, the love won't be enough. When our parents and our grandparents said I do, they meant forever. When we say I do today, we mean as long as you act right. That's why I named my book, which I've renamed it Real Love Marriage, but I called it Handle with Care because you got to handle this thing with care because you'll lose it if you don't manage it right. The days of women being without power and having to stay with some rude dude, them days are done. Women got money, women got smarts, women got power, women got jobs, women got more money than some of us, God help us. Matter of fact, when I got with this woman, she had more money than me. Oh yes, Lord, I went and got checked out. I got a checkup because she had insurance. What I'm saying is that the days of a woman having to stay with some dude, even though he was horrible, them days are done, guy. And in the exact same way, the days of some dude being stuck with you and you're rude, them days are done. Them days are over. And so there's almost nothing worse than a dude leaving a woman for a woman that's less attractive. What I'm saying to you is, it's because you're not in a situation just to be rude and just act in your own way. Both of you, you're going to have to work on it, and you're going to have to maintain the power of like. But what we like is very different, and so we're going to talk about what men like and talk about what women like, and we're going to share it with you in these next 25 minutes, and then we're going to pray for everybody, and we're going to go have this party, and we'll be back here in the morning, okay? All right, so let's start off right from the top, and if you're writing stuff down right here, number one, what do men like? Want me to just go first? You want to go first? Want me to go first since I've talked all this time? No, you're good. Okay, what men like? Men like beauty. Men like beauty. Men are visual. Men like attractive people. Not just attractive women, attractive people. Men like something that looks good. Men like something that looks good to them. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Men like beauty. Men don't just like beauty in their women. Men like beauty, period. A man will spend more money with a cute salesperson than he will with a scary one. It is the truth. Deal with it. It's a fact. I walk into Michael Kors to buy this chick a purse. The woman that was there was so cute, I bought 2 purses for you, boo, because it's just how men are. She was just like, oh my God, this is great. And I was like, yeah, men like the thing to look good. Men are moved by sight. And so one of the challenges for men is not to be so moved by sight that we miss all of the other qualities, because all of those other qualities are very important. But at the same time, we're not talking about what's fair. We're talking about what is. Instead of saying, why are you like that? Instead of saying that, we all need to figure out, okay, this is a strength or a weakness of men. And one of the things that men like is to look at it and like what they see.
As annoying as that is, ladies, it is. As annoying as it is, that's the way it is. And I think one of the things I wanted to say was the best thing that you can do in any man's life, because I believe this conference is not just about men and women getting together, it's about our place in each other's life. And as women, we have a place in every man's life that comes into our atmosphere. And so the best thing that you can do is understand men, because if you're going to raise them, you must understand them, right? They're not women, and you don't want them to be a woman. Pastor was just saying to me earlier today, he was asking me something about the house. He's like, does it just make you mad that I don't know this stuff? I was like, if you knew too much about this stuff, it would scare me. If you understood what this color really was, I would be like, my God, what did I get myself into? We want you to be men. And I think women, we have got to decide, because understanding is a decision that we make. We must decide that it's okay for them to just be men, right? Once you do that, the rest of what we say is fairly easy. You'll understand that your son is doing what they're doing because at that age, that's what boys do. And then you use that opportunity to give them a balance. And you do the same thing with the guy in your life. You use the opportunities that you have when the door opens for you, not that you push it open, but when it opens for you, you'll be allowed to influence their life, and we'll talk about that tomorrow.
I think one of the challenges, I think you made an excellent point. I don't want to stay on it forever, but I think one of the challenges that we're facing in America today, especially within the African-American community, but in America itself, is that we have so many men that are being raised by women, but if you're not careful, if you don't allow a man to be a man, you'll make him think like a woman. And I see a lot of men, particularly a lot of African-American men, that remind me of women. They argue like women, and they talk like women, and they dress to make a fashion statement like a woman. I can tell who has a dad and who doesn't just by how they dress. When I look at professional athletes, I can tell who has a daddy and who don't. Because if you are too raised by women, women are powerful and awesome and wonderful, but if you are too raised by a woman, then you'll stand like a woman and you'll start looking like a woman. You'll stand at the mic. I will see one quarterback standing at the mic straight all the way back and facing and saying, and then I'll see another one standing like this, and I'm like, yeah, you were only raised by your mama. So for all of you that are raising men, sweetheart, understand, we need you to raise a man, not a sham. There's no streaming. We need you to raise a man. We need as many men as possible. We don't need men who are so female that they barely pass for male. And so a part of the reason why we're sharing this is because you don't want to turn your man into a woman, and you do not want to turn your woman into a man. Viva la différence. There's something about the difference that makes this thing work. And we don't have to be the same to be equal. There's something about us being equal and connected together and having different skills and abilities that make us strong. Okay, babe.
All right, so he did this number one. Number one of the things that we like in our man is we like depth. Not just that you are intelligent and are book smart. Yes, that's great, but that there is something substantial to you and that your conversation is evident of how deep that you actually go. We don't mind, ladies, can I get an amen? We don't mind that you like the looks. We don't mind that you went into the Michael Kors store and you bought me 2 purses because she was cute.
No, I mean, I was going in there anyway. What I'm saying is...
You're just telling on yourself.
Sorry.
We like depth. We like conversation that has some swag to it. Now, this is like a throwback movie, but how many of you have seen Boomerang with Eddie Murphy? When that boy said, I can't breathe without you, I can't breathe without you. When you equate us to the air that you breathe and you actually mean it, oh, that's cute. We can get behind a man that, like, you're not a chick and you're not saying it like a girl, but you mean it. Like it's coming from the depths of your being. You are the air that I breathe. I can't breathe without you. My God. That is attractive. I like that.
Hey, Sean.
I like that.
Can't breathe without you, babe.
Nobody believes you. You ain't got to lie, Craig. No.
Yeah. Okay.
We like it. Now.
You want to do the next one? Or you want me
Yeah,
to?
I'll do the next one.
Okay.
I was going to put this number 1, but I decided to put it number 2. We like accountability and community. Did you hear that, gentlemen? We like accountability and community. We don't mind the independence of a man, but we don't want a renegade. A renegade we will date, but a renegade I can't follow. Because I don't know where you're going to lead me. It's cute when we're dating and you got all these ideas that go against the norm and you're just, just constantly going against the grain and it's just kind of hot and all of that. But when it's time for us to start talking about what's serious about our lives, we like a man that has some independence and has his own ideas, but he is accountable. He has a brother, somebody that he can look to, that we can actually go to. He has some kind of father figure in his life. He has a pastor, someone that he will actually listen to. There's nothing worse than I got that from you. You say there's nothing worse. There's always something worse. But one of the worst things for a woman, girlfriend, mother, wife, is that you can't tell this guy anything and nobody can tell him anything. He's just a renegade. It's like after a while, that's not attractive, and I won't like you after a while, because if you don't listen to us, then who are you going to listen to? We need someone, when you can't hear us, you can hear them. And then we want community. We want people where we can rub shoulders with them. They understand our relationship. They're going to actually pour into our relationship so that it's better, but not just we split up and get in a corner and she's just dogging you and he's dogging me to you, but they are trying to help us. They're not trying to hurt us. We like community. Yeah?
It's a powerful thing. And I think, gentlemen, we want authority, but we're not under it. And it's you'll abuse it if you're not under it. If you don't think about how you're being dealt with, then you'll deal with people rudely. If you really, really want somebody to listen to you, then you have to listen to someone. You reap what you sow. It's reciprocity. And it's an important thing. And I also think when you start to talk about community, one of the things I know about women is they don't mind your friends if your friends are a positive influence on you.
Exactly.
They don't mind it. It's not a bad thing. If the friends that you have that they don't like are the ones, and this goes both ways, quite honestly.
Yeah.
I don't have no problem with your girlfriends as long as she's not a hater. She's not a hater on the fact that you have some things you have to do, then you can hang with her all you want. But if she's always like, oh, why you gotta go and see, girl, that's what's wrong, you can't even hang no more, then it's like, right, why are you with her if she's a hater? She's a hater because she ain't got nobody herself. And so in the exact same way, if the dude is not in support of her, then she's not gonna be that comfortable with you having a really close friend that is not in support of your relationship. Community is important. Yeah. Number 2 for guys, ladies, guys like privacy. Guys like privacy. A guy is basically saying, write this down, keep my secrets. Spousal privilege was made by men. Wow. Men passed a law that said a wife cannot be compelled to testify against me in a court of law. I want to be able to tell my wife I killed him, and she cannot get up and testify against me. It's illegal. She takes the stands. I'll be like, Your Honor, It's illegal. That is a law. Why? Because we want our secrets kept. Gentlemen, if you know this, then you should tell on yourself. Nothing is more painful than when I sit down with a couple and the girl has to rat on the guy.
Yeah.
Even as she's doing it, and I'm sitting there listening, and I'm thinking to myself, well, we're going to be able to get down to the bottom of this, but I know that there's a betrayal that's happened here now that's going to be very difficult for me to mend. Because the truth of the matter is that he don't want you to tell on him. Dude, the way to battle that is to tell on yourself. Well, Pastor Andy, before we say anything, we just start off right off the bat and say, she got in my phone and she found 5 numbers. Go ahead and tell the truth yourself if you're trying to save your relationship. Because men like privacy. Men want their secrets kept. When I say men like privacy, here's the other thing I mean. You can write it down. A man's mind says, come when I call, but otherwise have a life. A man's mind says, I want you to come when I call, but I don't need you up on me all the time. There's nothing wrong with you having your own friends, your own relationships, and that's good, your own money, your own stuff. That's wonderful. As long as I can access you when I need it, that's good. But I also don't mind some just me time being a guy. When I come home, I want to sit down, I want to watch ESPN, I want to catch up on the scores. I don't need you all up on me. So what'd you do today? How come I don't want, can I be over here? And can you be secure enough to just be like, you good? Yeah, I'm good. All right, but can I get some space? Are you so insecure about my love for you that you have to have every second of my waking moment? What a guy wants is, I want you in the house, I just don't necessarily want you in the room with me. Oh, I wish a guy would say something. I want to know your hair here, but not necessarily right in here. Because a chair is still a chair if there's nobody sitting there. But a chair is not a house, and a house is not a home. So I want you there, but I don't just necessarily want you watching my show. Don't come in here and say, what are you watching? Oh, I don't like this. This is scary. Can we change this? This is going to mess with my spirit. I was sitting here watching Netflix. Leave me alone.
Okay.
Come in with a sandwich, drop it, and bounce. You understand what I'm saying? I want some privacy. I want you in my life.
Don't let me get our kids up here telling the truth.
I want you in my life.
Who comes to find who all the time?
Okay. You understand what I'm saying, gentlemen? What I'm saying is...
Wait.
I'm just...
honestly, I think that can go both ways.
No doubt.
All right, sit down. We love our men. No, but I do. I think it goes both ways, because we've sat with people where, the man wants, it's not that he wants her around all the time and wants her all over him. He just wants to know where she is all the time. And that always makes me kind of go, why? Like, because you don't trust her, or what is the problem? But I think that we live in a culture where we've become so codependent of one another, and we're so afraid to let each other out of our sights that we kind of crowd each other sometimes. And so I think it can go both ways with men and with women, but it looks a little bit different.
Yeah. All I'm saying is, babe, when I made this list, right? Yeah. And I was thinking about...
You can't
when I was thinking about the things about you that I like, right?
Just like today, well, what are you doing now? Where are you going to go when you're done with that? I'm just going to go to the bathroom. Well, I'm just going to tell it. He's up here all the time, and all he does is bend over chairs and make me look bad. Let me tell y'all the real about Andy Thompson. Y'all want to know the real? He wants to know where I am all the time.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. I will totally admit
Like today, can't you just come sit in the bathroom while I take a shower?
true.
All
That
the
is
time.
true.
I
That's
don't
true.
mind, though.
But it's because I like you.
Oh.
What I'm saying is at the same time, babe, like if Chris is my best friend, if Chris and I are talking, it's not, she doesn't have to be subbed in or three-wayed in. It's still the ability to respect your guy's friend's space and not be insecure, and that cuts both ways. Okay? Because guys are looking for a certain amount of privacy and a certain amount of that connection. Okay, we got to keep moving, Sean. We're going to run out of time. Number 3.
So my number 3 is, gentlemen, we really like you when you're being a man's man. And that is what it is. It's like you work. You can fix something. Even if you take a 3M hook and put it on the wall and hang a picture and say, see what I did? I'm telling you, we like it. There's nothing more attractive than a man that comes in the house tired from working. There's nothing more attractive. When my boys got a job this past summer, they were working at Auto Bell Car Wash. They came in those uniforms. I was a proud mama. I was like, boy, you are cute in your Auto Bell uniform. It's not about what you do, it's the fact that you're doing it. And you're going out and you're trying to make something happen for us. We like that. That's super attractive. We like a man's man.
It's great.
Yeah.
Very awesome. Okay? And whereas number 3, gentlemen, ladies, what men like is men like fun, flexibility. We like a fun woman. We like somebody who's, write this down for anything. Down for anything. What you want to do? Up on the roof? Come on, let's get this thing up on this roof. In the elevator, on the chair, let's get in that elevator. We want someone who, and it's kind of, we were talking about this in the car today, that there is a boy in every man. We like gadgets and we like stuff. I've got this used Tesla that I like. If I push a button, all the doors close and all the doors open. I never close those doors with my hands. I always do it with the key fob. I walk away. When I get out the car, I open every door. I don't just open the door I'm getting out of. I open all the doors and the wings come up and I walk and let people are looking at it and then I walk away. Beep, and I like the Transformer. I'm waiting for it to and turn into Megatron. I'm waiting for that. There's a boyishness. We like games and that kind of stuff, and that we have to find a way to do that, gentlemen, and not be immature. In the same way, there is a solidness and a consistency and a maturity and a matronly thing to a quality woman, but you don't want to be that so much that you're boring. Don't turn into my mother because I don't want to sleep with my mother. Wear your hat. Let's pull it down over your ears. It's like, don't lick your finger and clean around my eyes. What I'm saying is I want you to be fun. I want this to be fun. Let's try something different. I want some inconsistency. It's one of the great challenges of marriage is that women are looking for some predictability and some consistency that's with covenant. And guys want something that's a little unpredictable. You want to wear your comfortable gown. You get a robe and you wear it every day. You don't want to say nothing to me? Don't make me call you out. You get a robe and you wear that same robe till it can stand up on its own. I'm glad you like your robe, but I would also like to come in every now and then and see some dong, da, dong, dong. I want to see something different. I don't want to just see that robe. Dude's got to say something to me. Are you fun? Are we going to have fun? I want to talk serious, but I also want you to laugh like it's fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, giggle. I don't want that deep, matronly, ho, ho, ho. I want some fun. Men like fun.
We get your point.
Thank you. Number 4, men like service. Men like service. Men like benefits. Write that down. Benefits. If I'm going to marry you, what else do I get? What do I get with this? Membership should have its privileges. What do I get with this membership? You want me to sign my life away forever? Okay, lay down. Now I'm going from the gold club to the platinum club to the diamond club. What am I getting as a result of this commitment? Can you serve me? Men like service. Can I be king in my castle? Can you just write that down? Can I be king in my castle? I got no problem with you being queen if I can be king. Now, gentlemen, understand, kings aren't married to servants. They're married to queens. Ladies, understand, queens are not married to groundkeepers. Queens are married to kings. And when a king summons, you must come. See how quiet I got? See how, there. That's where you missed it. Exactly. And if you think that way, then you will never get a king. You will get someone that you have to take care of. You think you want to be in charge till you really get in charge. You realize that you married a boy. So what I'm saying to you is, men like, here's my third thing, write it down, ladies. Men like obedience. See? Obedience. Can you just do what I ask you to do? Can you just do what I ask you to do? I just asked her to do something. Can you just do it without rethinking it? Well, why we got to do that? Well, why we got to? Hey, can you make me a sandwich? Oh, God. Can you serve? Can you serve? Men like service. That's why men fall in love with their secretaries, because they like someone who just does what's asked. Yep, that's why.
I mean, some of these things
wait. I'm not saying it's a good thing. You do not want to lose your man to some young chippy who ain't really her. Don't lose your man to someone because she doesn't have anything. So now she's treating him special and you are not. Listen, I am telling you how it is. Understand that men like someone that can just say, okay, sure, no worries, you got it. What do you want? No problem. Easy, sure. What do you need? You got it. I'll be there in a minute. Men like that. Talk to me, men. Men like that. I'm not saying we don't want a slave. I'm just saying we want someone that is compliant.
Let me just say this. Let me say this to everyone in the room, not just you ladies. Before I go on to my number 4, I'm just going to say it one more time. One of the things, the reason why I'm saying we have to understand one another, the reason why we are very opposite, and you can see that very, very clearly, but the thing that we have is we have understanding. Not just that I understand him as a person, but I understand him as a man. I was not raised by a father. I did not have the best mother. I did not know how to do this thing, but I was determined to learn. And society, when I was growing up, pitched us against one another. They brought a great divide. We had the women's liberation movement was a great thing when I was being raised, and it was a wonderful thing, but it tilted us all the way over to the other side. And that is the way, that's how we got to where we are. Like this, what you feel in the room is like somebody, when a man stands up and says those things, the reason why he says them with such passion is that he feels the pushback. I don't want this to be a men against women's thing. This is not a man against woman event. This is to bring us both together to learn something in the same room so that we leave here better than the way we came in, right? That's what we have to do. Now, I'm not fussing, and I don't want you to think that I'm fussing. I want to encourage you. if you don't leave here with much else that I say, be determined to understand the opposite sex so that you can get along with them, not control them. So let me just say, it is very easy, gentlemen, for us to, what were those things you said? Be fun. Let me go back to 3. Be fun, flexible, down for anything, try something different, give service, and be obedient and all of that stuff when we trust you. But then also, the thing that we like is that we like it when you are considerate. There is nothing more attractive than a man who is considerate about our lives together or just considerate of me. I think that once we allow men to be men, maybe they will in turn be considerate of us because they won't have to take anything. They won't have to stand up when they talk. They won't have to elevate their voices. They will just be able to be considerate, knowing that they will get what they're needing also, right? So we like men that are considerate and helpful. We like it when you share the load. I know we've come a long way from opening doors for us, but we like that. We like being treated like a girl. Women that don't like to be treated like women, women that don't want a door opened for them. If you watch Pride and Prejudice and you see Mr. Darcy come over that hill and nothing happens to you as a girl, you're not grinning, you're listen to me. If you watch You've Got Mail, and when Tom Hanks, us old people, and Meg Ryan meet on that bridge with that dog, if you're not melting in your seat, you need to really check your chick card, because we like being treated like women. We really do. Sometimes I just want to be a girl. Sometimes I just want you to make sure that the oil is changed in my car. We love saying to each other, girl, he got my oil changed and I didn't even know it. Oh my God, I came outside and guess what, girl? My whole car was painted. Girl, he went and got my car washed. I mean, when I go to my daughter's house or anyone's house, if I catch her taking out the trash, I'm like, are you crazy? I don't mop floors. You know why I don't mop floors? Because when we got married, before we had anyone that we could afford to come help us, he mopped the floors. Because I felt like that mop is heavy. I need a man to be a man. Do the heavy work. Share the load. We just like it when you share the load. We like it when you share the load with the children. You don't have to be their mom. No one's asking you to bathe them and do all of this stuff. If you want to do that, that is so beautiful. I love the fact that our younger generation, they seem to share the load a lot better. But one of the things that I notice is why they share the load. Sometimes they're sharing the load because they are afraid that the culture that's been built around them will actually push them out of it because they're not going along with what everyone else is doing. Because my generation did teach boys that you better respect women, and you better do this, and you better help your wife. And so there's a fear down in there, but we want you to be considerate and not do it just because you don't want to hear our mouths or whatever. But I bet you, if you go home and you decide, like I walked in today, girl, and the bed was made. I said, my God. The pillows were on it and everything. Though I know you did it because we were doing real love.
No,
it's okay.
I did it because I was just trying to do it.
I know.
And I can't really do it like you
I
anyway.
know.
Gentlemen, let me
That's
say
what I'm
this.
for.
I think that one of the saddest things about the world that we live in today, especially with an African-American culture, is that to some extent men have been so wretched and horrible and awful that women are now at a point in which they're like, look, I just got to take care of me. I
Very
just
true.
got to watch out for me. I
Yeah.
cannot trust no dude. I can't live my life for some dude going to come through here and take care of me. Look, whatever I do, I got to watch out for me. I got to take care of me. They didn't get that on their own. They got that because we are so busy trying to be pimps and dogs. And we are so busy trying to do that we are not necessarily treating them with the kind of compassion and the kind of care and the kind of cherishing that they really do need. When we're talking about this together, we're talking about us getting back to a place where we really want to have healthy relationships together. And I can say this with all of the fervor and strength and passion that I want, because right now in America, we are failing.
Very true.
At marriage, we are failing. Now, we got more independence than ever. We got more empowered. We got more equality than ever, and that's great. But we also have more divorce than ever. So I'm trying to talk to you about what's real. Trying to talk to you about what it takes to actually stay together. Number 5, men like rational, unemotional communication. Men like rational, unemotional communication. Men like people and women who can be reasonable. It's not just women who can be reasonable, people that can be reasonable. Okay? Men like rational, unemotional communication. Gentlemen, a man who turns to emotion in a conversation is either stupid or raised by a woman. When I'm having a conversation with a guy and instead of him giving me a rational discussion, he gets emotional and mad and tries to manipulate me with his anger, I'm like, you either aren't smart or you have learned this from a woman who taught you the wrong way to communicate. Ladies, you are so intelligent and so bright and so smart. Make your point, but don't manipulate us with tears. Now, if you're sad, you're sad. But sometimes guys don't like women because they can't have a rational conversation without it getting emotional. I understand you're emotional creatures, and I have to understand that. LaShawn is emotional, and I get that, and I've become more emotional as a result of being in a relationship with her. But it's not fair for her to use emotion to manipulate me. If I make a point that's a real point, this is not the time to say, see, this is what I mean. I hear you, but was my point real, though? Did I make a real point? So a part of what men like is men like we can have a conversation and there's rationality behind it, and I can say something and it's actually rational and reasonable. We're running out of time. Come on, let's keep going.
All right, so number 5 for me is that we like it when we have a guy that is a thoughtful conversationalist. We want men to actually consider our point of view, and so that we don't have to be belligerent about it. If you're a thoughtful conversationalist, you're open to the idea that I may have a different opinion and we can actually talk about it, and you're not going to be insecure about the fact that I'm not thinking the way you think. The reason why I love this guy is that he doesn't expect me to think like him. He expects me to understand him, but I don't have to think like him. And when we're talking, that is evident that I don't have to think like Andy Thompson. I just have to be LaShawn Thompson. And then number 6, we like romantic exchange. That's right. I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
We don't mind being sexy, wearing a thong. You show up, we just got a tie on and nothing else. As long as you can bring some romance into my life. But don't just walk in. I'll talk to you men tomorrow, but you walking in, wanting me to be like that, but you come in, you ain't brush your teeth. First of all, when was the last time you just said, I just love you, and didn't want anything? We want romance. We want you to actually show us a good time. We don't want to be boring, but don't you be boring. We actually like for you to surprise us sometimes. The reason why some women don't like surprises is, number 1, you may have done it wrong so many times and it turned out bad. Not wrong like it's supposed to be our way, but it's just a man's thing that you brought us to. It was nothing to do with us. Your surprise is, don't bring me an exercise bike for my birthday. That's not a good surprise.
I never did that, so that's
No, you did.
I bought you an exercise bike.
You
for your
bought me an
birthday.
exercise bike when the boys were little.
Yeah, well, that was a long time ago. I'm grown.
I got on that thing 2 times.
Okay.
So anyway.
Here's the challenge, ladies and gentlemen. I know we're running out of time, but this is good. It's good. It's good. It's good information. Here's the challenge. The challenge is that she just finished saying that women want romantic exchange and want things done just because it's good to do it. But one of the things that men love, number 6, is men love commerce. Commerce. C-O-M-M-E-R-C-E. Men love commerce. Men love, and what I have in here is A equals B, B equals C, then A equals C. Y'all see that? It's in there, right? I didn't make you write that down. If A equals B, then B equals C, then A equals C. Men like that, meaning if flowers equals appreciation and appreciation equals sex, then flowers must mean sex.
This is very true.
Do you understand what I'm saying? If flowers make you feel appreciated and then appreciation makes you feel sexy, then in my mind, flowers equal sex. So there's actually I know you want me to do it just because I'm being sweet and thoughtful, and that's great, but I gave and something came back. There's something about that exchange, not to treat you like you're less, or not to treat you like you're a hoe, or not to treat you like you're a prostitute, or you just think you can buy me. No, that's not it. But I do like to believe that if I did this, it turned into something.
Right.
That's just how men's minds work. And it doesn't mean we never do anything to be thoughtful. We try to do things to be thoughtful. But I will say that if you repay something, it will be repeated.
This is very true.
So if I
But
do
you have
make
to
the bed, wait,
understand-
babe. If I do make the bed, or if I do mop the floor, or if I do clean the kitchen.
I'm about to help you with your point.
I know, I'm sorry. But if I do that, then women, it's so powerful. You do things because they need to be done. This is what's so amazing about you. You clean the kitchen because it needs to be cleaned. We clean the kitchen for you to notice that we cleaned it.
Very true.
We
you
clean
know what?
slow. As you come in the door, we're still moving stuff. Like, oh, you caught me. We time it exactly. When does this girl get home? We call you. When you going to be in? I'll be there at 6:15. We don't even start cleaning the kitchen until 6. As you come in, suds, like, oh, my God. And if you say, honey, oh, my God, you clean the kitchen. If you walk by and be like, you need to clean it. I clean it. If you do that, then if I don't get that exchange, I'm not going to clean it next time. I'm not cleaning it because it needs to be cleaned. I'm cleaning it because you're going to notice that I cleaned it. This is just how it is. It's not about fair. It's just how guys be. Can a guy say something to me? This is how we are. We're interested in the exchange of it. That's a part of it, okay? You want to go ahead and make your point?
No, you made your point very well.
Okay.
I was going to talk about the card you gave me.
No, we don't have time, babe. I mean, I would love to do
Honey,
it. But
you're taking up all the time.
I know, it's my fault.
My God.
Okay,
Okay, it is getting late. Okay, so let me just get to the last one.
No, let me go first.
Okay.
Number 7.
I want to go first.
Okay, you got it.
This is important because it relates to the card. The one thing that this man has made me feel, and gentlemen, if you can do this, like for real do this, you're in there. We want to be your one and only. We want to be like God, the one and only. There is no other woman before me. My daughter is not before me. His mother is not before me. His sisters are not before me. The little chippy in the Michael Kors store is not before me.
She ain't.
And this is what I was going to say earlier. When you can do this stuff with sincerity, the other day, this man came in with flowers, and I've learned to make the exchange. You can't hate the exchange of sex and romance because that's just the way it is. Let's stop bucking the system. This is the way it is. This is how they're wired. He came in, he gave me flowers and a card. I opened this card. First, the envelope said, and I'll bring it tomorrow, and I'll see if I can get through reading a few of them to you guys. But he had the reasons why I love you. I opened up the card, and it had 52 reasons, and they were all different. For every year I've lived, he's given me 50. Do you see her shaking her head? Well, I'm telling you. That's Pride and Prejudice stuff right there. That's You've Got Mail. I was on that man like white on rice. But he makes me feel like I'm his one and only. That's why I don't get nervous. That's why having this large church with all of these beautiful women, it doesn't make me nervous because I'm going home with him. I'm his one and only. Yeah.
It's true. All right. And it's funny that this last one really does, we've been talking about ways in which we're different, but this last one really is the same because in a way, gentlemen, ladies, what men like is men like to be a priority. We want to be a priority. We really want to be first. We'll share you with God, but we really even are a little bothered if you put God over us. If you're sleeping with me and then you get saved and you come back and like, I just gave my life to Jesus and so does this booty, it is the Lord's, then there's a little part of me that's a little like, dang. What church was that? World of Commerce. This body belongs to the Holy Ghost. I just had it last night. Well, now it is God's. Okay. Because really, even with God, like I'll let God be first in your life, but I want to be like really close. I'll be okay for the kid to be first for a while, but you better get them little rascals back into their place. Because babies get in there and they're first. They first come, they're very needy, they need you. I get it. The first year, they are all over you. They are first. We're cool with that. There's no problem with us being second on the totem pole, third on the totem pole, fourth on the totem pole. We get it, okay? I totally understand. But at some point, you better get me back to some kind of priority because men like to feel like they're a priority. Men like to feel like, yeah, I'm kind of first. If you make me first, you can do anything you want. Make me a cake first, you can do anything you want. Anything you want to do. My wife does tremendous work in Africa. I love it, I support it. It's not my work, it's her work. It is her organization, I'm not even on the board. I raise money for it, but I'm tremendously proud of the work that she does. Part of the reason she's about to leave and go away for the rest of the month in just a few days. She's going to take all of this away from me, my God. But a part of the reason why it is easy to let her go is because she looks like this. Her looking like this is important to me. So since she has prioritized that, I don't mind the other things that she does if this is a priority. But if she did not look like I want her to look, then I would be bothered by the other things that she does. Because I would think, oh, so you've got all this energy to do that, but you can't get done the thing that's important to me. At some point, I want to be back prioritized. I don't have to be your everything, but I would like to be a first thing. I may not be first for a while, but at some point, you got to get me back to first. I want to be our priority. They want to be the one and only. We just really want to be first. Men like to be prioritized. Men like to feel like I'm important. I don't have to be your God. I just want to be first. Our aim in sharing these things with you is for you to know each other better and understand each other better, to communicate with each other, to share with one another. Our aim and our prayer is that your relationship will be wonderful and real. Can you put your hands together one more time just for our moments together? Can you do it like you mean it?